Welcome to episode 61 of The Leap Home. Dreams.
In this week's episode, Sam has to try and hold his mind together as he leaps into a police officer suffering traumatic flashbacks after encountering a gruesome murder scene. With Al increasingly concerned and the connection between two key events elusive, Sam has to battle to retain his sanity. But can he keep his focus on the present? Or will events of the past lead to his demise?
EATHOLOGY Lab.
How are things, Ian?
Not too bad, Gerry. How are you?
Yeah, a little bit spooked.
Were you?
No.
I thought it was a good episode, a little bit darker.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Some shades of earlier episodes, a couple of familiar themes.
For sure. Certainly, I think, influenced by The Silence of the Lambs and the myriad of psychological thrillers that came out in the early 90s.
Around about the same time, yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed it. There are obviously certain things that need to be discussed, but despite any issues we might have overall, I thought it was an enjoyable episode.
It's atmospheric, I would give it that.
It was certainly worth watching.
Yeah.
Before we get into the details, let's do the social media stuff. As ever, we can be found at Leap Home Podcast on all the usual social channels. If you want to see show notes or leave comments, you can visit theleaphome.com. And if you want to catch next week's episode now, go to our YouTube channel, Columbo Podcast Productions, where every podcast is released 1 week early.
Are you ready?
I am. What shall we do now?
We'll crack on.
It's a shortened introduction sequence compared to what we saw at the end of last week's episode.
But we're still in the bedroom. I think, is it a bedroom, yeah? Or is it a bathroom?
Well, I think we're in a corridor to begin with, are we not? And then Sam eventually makes his way into this room. I'm not certain which room it is. I think it's a bedroom with an ensuite.
Okay. He's suited, spectacled, or bespectacled.
Yes.
He's crouching down, and we are shown it's what date?
It's the 28th of February, 1979.
He leans over in shock at the bloodied, dead body of a young woman.
Yes, and we immediately go to the credits.
Yeah, well, I think maybe the date was before or after the credits.
Yeah, after the credits, sorry, yes. It comes up on screen as usual.
We have this flashback effect.
Yeah, it's a familiar sort of visual trope, as it were, with the almost sort of the lightning effect with the flashing of the black and white image showing that it's not current events.
It's an almost David Fincher effect.
Maybe this is where he learned it all.
Perhaps, yeah. But I think we've got a jump scare as well here.
Would you call it that?
Well, there's a noise that he hears behind him or from some other room, and he gets up and at this point he notices he is holding a handgun.
He is. He makes his way into this, what I thought was the ensuite, and finds two small children.
A young boy and girl cowering against the wall and wanting their mommy.
Yeah, they're a bit upset that she appears to have been murdered.
You would be, I think.
Yeah.
Sam tells them to close their eyes and leads them past the body and out to another cop. Yeah, but did we see this last week? I think me and you both saw different versions of the trailer last week.
I'm not 100% certain. We did see this woman. This is Roselli.
He tells her about the victim who he assumes is the kid's mother.
Yes, and the young girl is asking for her father at this stage, but can't answer any questions about where he might be or even if he's in the house at all.
I think Roselli, she's quite disturbed. She notices the body before saying that she will take them downstairs as you say, the girl cries for her father. And after hearing another noise, they rush more quickly or further out.
Yeah, Roselli and the kids do, while we hear Sam thinking about how unprepared he is for making this leap.
The young girl, she overhears Roselli suggest it may be the father, but what does she say?
She doesn't think that her father would make her mother scream like that.
And as Roselli leads them away, she warns Sam as Jack to wait for backup.
Yes. Not really Sam's way, though, is it?
No. He leaps in there.
Head first.
I think we're now in the bedroom.
Yeah, we get a internal monologue from Sam talking about how he's unprepared for what's going to come next in this leap, and seeing the dead body and the children has caused a rage within him, and he hopes he'll know what to do when he finds the killer.
As he moves slowly through the room, he hears a voice from behind another door say, Janice. And as he prepares to open it, he glimpses his own middle-aged, mustachioed reflection in the mirror.
Yes. He's okay with the reflection this time, but it frightens him later on.
Yeah.
Inside this room, he hears a voice repeating, yes, yes.
It's quite unnerving.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like he's talking to someone, but he's not got a phone, he's not... It's an internal conversation.
And I think the voice also asks for Janice, his wife.
Yeah, and we hear him talking about it being a lovely night.
Yeah, well, we should say he's standing with a gun at the window. He seems quite unhinged.
Well, the gun's pointing at his own face.
Yeah.
And he's, as you say, he says he wants to speak to his wife, but he realises that Sam's there.
Sam drops his own gun and comes out to face the man, who again says he needs to speak to his wife, but first he's going to have to kill himself.
Well, not first. He wants to speak to his wife first and then kill himself.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Or is it not? He has to kill himself so that he can speak to
No,
her?
he says he has to kill his wife, but he wants to speak to Janice first. So he doesn't know that Janice is dead, or he doesn't appear to know that Janice is dead. I think that's quite an important point.
Okay. He goes to pull the trigger.
Yes, but Sam's able to do his usual sort of rugby tackle that sends the bullet.
One of these days, he's going to get that time that wrong.
Yeah. And somehow out of nowhere, a bunch of other cops appear in the room right at that moment.
Well, it's not out of nowhere. The backup was on its way.
Yeah, but a very conveniently timed arrival.
Yeah.
So they arrest Peter, and we then head back outside where Roselli's ushering the children away.
Yeah, I mean, it's a few moments later, a few minutes later. The place is now buzzing with the usual cop types, you know, people taking pictures and cordoning things off.
Yeah. At this point, we find Sam back at the door that's between him and the body.
Yeah, he gets another strange flashback sensation as he slowly places his hand onto the knob and gets a brief vision of the dead blonde, which obviously disturbs him.
Yes.
But before he can enter the room, Al shows up and is clearly more concerned for his friend than usual.
Oh, gee, Sam, we had a hell of a time tracking you. Ziggy says that your brain is scrambled. What happened? Holy mackerel. What's going on here? Sam? Sam? Hello, Sam? What channel are you tuned into? Ah, jeez, Louise.
Why am I here, Al?
Ziggy gives it a 99% chance that you're here to save a guy named Peter DeCaro.
I did that.
Yeah, well, in the original history, he tried to commit suicide and...
I did that, so why haven't I leaped?
Well, we're still working on that. We figured when you changed history, maybe you would just leap then.
But I didn't.
Didn't what?
Well, you're kind of edgy.
What?
You said you didn't?
I said you're really edgy.
Didn't what?
I didn't get here in time.
I was 10 minutes away and you were here before me. We got here as soon as we could.
What's going on with you, Sam?
Jack, you sure you're all right?
I just felt...
You want me to give you a lift home?
Her name is Pam
No,
Rosselli.
thanks, Pam.
No, call her Rosselli. She's a
Rosselli.
cop.
I'll drive myself.
Yeah, I still can't figure out how that hunk of junk keeps running. Well, why don't you go home? Get cleaned up and I'll take care of the paperwork on this creep.
Sam. Sam.
At this point, I've noted Sam is the killer? Question mark. I think they're trying to lead you down that path with the pointing out that Sam was there before everyone else.
Yes, it's a very common sort of clue, isn't it?
So we're outside now.
Yes, Sam briefly informs a man who I think he probably suspects is a senior police officer, but certainly is not, about what's happened.
Yeah, he's outside leaning on the wall and trying to catch his breath. He's having almost a panic attack.
Yeah.
And when Sam tells us, this man, about the murder and that he doesn't know if the victim is Mrs. DeCaro, he's quite alarmed and he strides in, claiming that he needs to talk to Peter.
Yes, but Sam doesn't know where Peter is, or he says he doesn't.
No, we're now in the car.
Yeah, well, for me, at the end of that scene, Sam still seems a bit dazed. He's kind of out of it.
He's out of it the entire episode, doesn't he?
Well, to a greater or lesser extent. But he's able to drive his car and work out which is his car.
I've got
and know where to drive it to.
That's the exact note I've taken here. How did he know which car was his and where to go?
Well, maybe he's got a wallet, I suppose. But in terms of 1979, you're not going to be able to press your buzzer and watch for headlights or anything. He's going to have to find the car and put the key in it.
Even if you get a wallet, he won't know. If it says 547 Sycamore Drive, he won't know where that is.
Yeah, he doesn't have a sat nav or anything. I suppose he might have a map in the car.
Oh, come on.
Al could maybe direct him. But yeah, we don't know.
In any case, he's on the freeway.
He is, and Al's pressing him for information about how he feels.
Yeah, he explains that he's got this feeling that he is there to do something else since he saw the body.
It's not the first time he's had such a feeling.
He doesn't know what, and Al can't support this, as he has information that DeCaro got the chair, the electric chair.
Yeah, but not, as it turns out, for killing Janice.
No, why?
Because 2 days from now, he's going to murder Sam in exactly the same way that Janice was killed. This causes Sam to immediately start having visions of his own death. Sam, not Jack, while driving. That's very dangerous. You should never drive and hallucinate at the same time.
Sam has somehow found his own house, or Jack's house, and we see him having a restless, nightmarish sleep in his bed. And during this nightmare, this dream, he sees himself as, I think I would describe him as Jeffrey Dahmer-esque, those big glasses. He did remind me of that.
It's certainly reminiscent, isn't it?
Yeah. He's opening a bedroom door and being shocked to find that it's his own bloodied face staring back at himself. That reminded me of a bit of like Hellraiser.
With the blood running down his face, yeah, it was a fairly iconic looking image, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We see him wake in a cold sweat before, as I mentioned a wee bit earlier, getting a fright from his own reflection. Did you notice somebody crawling across the bottom of the mirror?
No.
That's a bit of a goof, I think. But you can see, I presume, Dean Stockwell crawling across.
Right, okay.
Because he suddenly appears on the other side of Sam.
Have we asked that before? Can Sam see Al's reflection?
He can't.
Okay.
Anyway, Al does show up at this point at Sam's left-hand side.
Okay.
Either way. Sam tries to talk about Simo leaping, and Al denies all knowledge, which I assume is a lie to stop Sam thinking about it.
You think so?
Well, it doesn't make sense otherwise, because we know that Al does know about it. Why would he say he doesn't know?
Yeah, fair enough.
Other than, because back in that episode, the leap back at the start of this season, they talked about Sam not remembering it happening. So obviously I would imagine it's a concern to Al if he starts to remember, because they don't want him to remember Donna or any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Before that conversation, however, Sam had asked Al about his motive for DeCaro to kill him, Jack.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know, and tells him that no one ever found out, so it was never revealed in any court publications or newspaper articles. Sam isn't happy with this and claims that he feels possessed as he picks up a picture of his wife and his son.
Yeah, he postulates that he's not alone in his own mind, and that Jack might know why Peter wants to kill him.
Yeah, this might be some sort of defence mechanism, I think he says.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Al doesn't buy it and thinks it's too weird. They are leaping through time and bodies.
Yeah, that's the epitome of weird.
Yeah, you can't say, oh, that's ridiculous when you're doing what you're doing.
A man, no. Why another man wants to kill him? Don't be ridiculous. I'm not even looking into that.
Now hurry up and find out what you can do so you can leap into some other dimension.
Sam has a plan.
What's that?
He wants Al to get Ziggy to do a full lifetime check on Jack and see if there's anything unusual.
And he assures Al they'll figure things out, but wants Beeks to talk to Stone while he meets with Roselli in DeCaro's office the next morning.
Yes, but Al's concern is that Sam's going to be murdered in 2 days, and it might take longer than that to do this check. Anyhow, before we get to DeCaro's office, we've got Sam solo visiting the house during the night.
It's weird. And I've got issues about, we might get to a little bit later on, but I don't really understand what or who Jack is or what he's got responsibilities for.
Yeah. The best I can work out is he seems to be a senior officer who's not in homicide.
I don't... okay, we'll get to it a little bit later. Yeah, so he returns to the crime scene, and we hear Sam think to himself that something is drawing him back there, and he hopes it'll provide an answer to what is going on.
He has a new vision here where he sees a child approaching the door.
Yes, with a bright light behind it. Now, this image then quickly shifts to the body of Sam on the floor, which causes him to back away, breathing quickly, while being watched by a curious and concerned hologram.
Yes, this is the second time he's failed in the real world to open this door.
Mm-hmm. The next morning, back at the house, Sam and Roselli are going through De Caro's office and naively, I think, coming to the conclusion that he doesn't seem like the type to murder people because he's busy and a respectable looking person. I mean, no one who's busy or respectable, you should tell Columbo that.
Yeah, that would save a lot of time, wouldn't it?
Can't be him. He's the man of the year at the local thingy club, and he's very rich. Rich people don't murder.
Of course not, that's ridiculous. Roselli picks a very tasteless way to reveal a new fact about the crime at this stage.
What's that?
Well, she jokes that Peter might have eaten Janice's heart because it was missing from the body when they put her back together.
Yeah. I mean, I think, in fairness, probably there is that sort of cop humour to an extent. But also we've seen it, especially in this country recently, where the cops take insensitivity to whole new levels by making very inappropriate jokes and taking and sending pictures of
to a criminal extent, in many cases, yeah.
Anyhow.
Al notes that the missing heart is not recorded in any files that he's seen.
No. So I think they've been looking through De Caro's diary, his work agenda, and Sam sees that he had a doctor's appointment, and after this he cancelled all other meetings.
Yes, and Roselli identifies this Dr. Crane as the local psychiatrist.
A shrink, and that he asked for him before his lawyer, which is a bit of a flag, I would say.
Yeah, Sam speculates that perhaps Peter revealed to Crane that he wanted to kill Janice before he did it.
Now this is a bit, again, it sort of confused me. Sam wants to talk to De Caro, but Roselli says they already have. So the first thing is, she's just like a uniformed cop. Yeah. She isn't getting involved. She's not a detective. We already have. So what do you mean we already have? Is Sam, this is the first point I thought to myself, wait a second, is Sam not a senior investigator?
The hierarchy's not very clear, is it?
It's not clear at all, but not even that. Is Sam, it's not the hierarchy between him and her, but he doesn't seem to be involved in the investigation in any official capacity at all.
At some point she literally says we've passed it to homicide. Or
leave it.
So he's not in the homicide team.
But in that case then it's ridiculous that he's there at all.
Well,
why would he?
Well, he keeps, the reason Sam's going is he's got these visions and he's drawn to it.
Yeah, but why
maybe Jack wouldn't be.
Yeah, I don't know. Why is Roselli there the next day? You don't bring along uniformed cops to do this investigation.
Well, she seems to be a personal friend of Jack's, so perhaps it's a favour.
I don't know. It's just not explained. I don't like how it's been.
Yeah, you're meant to kind of hand wave it. It's like, police stuff. Yeah. Anyhow, Sam's big concern here is that if Crane knew that this crime was going to be committed, he had a responsibility to report it and allow the police to prevent it.
Yeah, I think, again, this is a bit just weird writing. He suggests that Crane may have been or could have been aware that De Caro wanted to kill his wife. But for some reason, she dismisses this because Crane, in her mind, is a respected doctor.
Yes, and would have reported it if he knew.
Again, how naive can you be? How bad at police work? I'll just make all these assumptions. De Caro was rich. He couldn't have killed or it's weird. And this guy's respected. I mean, a respected doctor would never do anything unethical.
I'm sure real police never cut corners or make assumptions.
Jeez. I think she's just stupid, to be fair.
Or disinterested.
Lazy, I think. It's like, let's just...
It's not her job. No. She's not that fussed.
Al points out that if De Caro had mentioned something, it would be premeditated, therefore a crime that would be punishable by death, obviously.
Depending on when that was abolished. Was it not abolished in the 70s in California?
I don't know, but they talk
obviously not, because they talk about the death penalty. Anyhow, Sam again laments at this stage being late on the scene, but notes that the children were there and would have witnessed what happened.
Mm-hmm. It's just... Sam thinks out loud, he thinks he got there too late.
Yeah.
But what does Sam think who does Sam think he is at the moment? He is a cop. Cops don't get there early.
I think Sam's thinking about he's leapt in too late. He's just allowing that to transfer into this scenario. So he's talking as Sam.
Right.
But it just happens to make a little bit of sense as Jack.
Yeah, because she says he got there almost before the call went out. Why does she not ask, why were you there?
Yeah, that's quite suspicious.
Very suspicious. She's
is.
a dreadful, disinterested, lazy police officer.
Yeah. She's not a good cop.
No, she's terrible.
Bad cop.
Bad cop. Very bad cop.
Anyway, after Sam reflects on the children having probably witnessed the crime, she tells him that she's spoken to the girl, Leah, who explained that her brother had blocked her view and ushered her into the bathroom.
And she then says that she'll see if the hospital will let him talk to the brother, the boy. Like, again, who is she? Why is this uniformed cop saying, I'll speak to and see if you can... I don't know, let the detectives do this.
Well, you would think. But Sam's got a personal interest.
Okay, but yes, but she should be saying, why are you so interested in this?
Maybe he always does this. Who knows? But she wants to change the subject anyway.
Yes, she surprises him.
She's got dinner planned for the two of them at her place.
And wants to know if it is on or off. And when Al quickly advises that that he says yes.
That's bad advice in my opinion.
You think?
He's obviously preoccupied by this murder. Why would you go out for any kind of date or personal event if you're not sorted this through? As it turns out, but anyway.
He does his usual thing of agreeing, but in a very sort of unsure and nervous type.
Vague way, yeah. We then head to the hospital where PJ is not very chatty.
No, he's staring into the distance as Sam explains he's trying to help his dad and find out who hurt his mommy.
Have we seen Sam try to get answers from someone at a hospital before? It seems really familiar.
Perhaps.
Anyway.
He asks him to come back to reality so that he can talk to him, but the kid continues to ignore him. And when Sam does his usual and places his hands on him to make him listen, he rightly brushes him off.
Yeah, well, that shows that he is engaging with the world. He's just not speaking.
Yeah, but as I'm saying, that's Sam's. That's what he does, isn't it? To make you listen to me, I'm going to grab you. I'm physically going to...
Well, I've noted here, Sam promises to come back later and beat the evidence out of him.
Yes. It's more of a threat, isn't it, than a...
I'll be back. And it'll be worse for you if you don't give me the answers.
We next find Sam outside Dr. Crane's office, where he bumps into him after thinking about how some leaps are different to others.
Some leaps seem clear and direct. You have a piece of history to change, you change it, and you leap. Then there are others that seem to get under my skin. Only somehow it wasn't just my skin.
Yeah, I'm looking for Dr. Mason Crane.
Mr.
Sam. Jack Stone. Doctor?
What can I do for you, Mr. Stone?
Peter DeCaro suggested that I come see you.
I'm sorry, I'm not accepting any new patients.
Well, I was hoping that you could make an exception.
Well, I'm very sorry, but my schedule is totally booked. Perhaps I can recommend one of my colleagues to you.
Look, this is very important to me.
What is it you want, Mr. Stone?
I want to sleep. Again. I've been having these dreams. They're very frightening to me, and I want them to stop. They have to stop, Dr. Crane. They have to.
Part of what you're saying to me is a lie, Mr. Stone. And part of it is painfully true. Be here tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And please, Mr. Stone, don't lie to me again. I don't like lies. And I always know.
Well, what are you standing there for? Come on, let's check out his office and see what makes this shrink tick.
So at this point, I have noted he is wearing weird grey murderer gloves.
I've said he reeks of a Columbo villain.
Yes. But also very much like as I said before, Hannibal Lecter. He knows when you're lying. He's so sort of uber intelligent that he can control you, or he presents himself in that way as well. It's very sort of authoritative and but professional.
Yeah. So I'll help Sam break into the office, but we see Crane come back round the block just to see what he's up to.
Well, I think he's sitting in the back of a chauffeur-driven car.
Yeah, so I think we've just gone round.
Yeah.
And he's obviously suspicious of Sam.
But he doesn't go back into...
He doesn't confront him at this stage, no.
Drives off, yeah.
That's information is power.
Inside his office, from the Rolodex, Sam finds out that Crane is seeing both husband and wife, as well as half of LA, apparently.
Yeah, Al tells
Must
him...
be a big Rolodex.
It did seem quite chunky.
Yeah.
Al tells him that they don't have much on Crane, other than that he moved to Chicago in the 80s, where they assume he must have retired.
So Sam asks him about himself, and Al tells him that his mother died when he was 10, and he dropped out of UCLA to join the police force before retiring in 1980. So,
in the original history.
yes.
But that's changed now because Sam saved Peter. So now Stone gets murdered
Okay.
in 2 days. Or 1 day now.
He gets angry when Al tells him that he only has to not get killed, and admits that he is scared and feels that he's losing his mind and worried that he might die. But surely that should be a fear in just about every leap.
Yeah, and it's not just that though. He tells Al that it's already happened and he's seen it because he's had these visions.
Al tries to reassure him, but he clearly doesn't have confidence in this opinion.
Yeah. So we then head back to, or for the first time, to Roselli's house for this meal that Sam's agreed to.
And again, she apparently doesn't see a problem with Crane seeing both husband and wife, and thinks that he must not have known about DeCaro's homicidal thoughts, considering the savagery of what he's accused of. I mean,
I don't think Roselli wants to talk shop at all here, though. She's like, we're at home, why are you talking about work?
mm-hmm.
Sam is so out of it that before either of them even start their dinner, he's lifted their plates and taken them away.
Yes. You must know she's a terrible cook.
Maybe.
This is the equivalent of, you want coffee?
Yeah.
She also tells him just to leave it to homicide. And again, I'm thinking, so why is he on this case? But he now gets angry with her and says that he can't just leave it be. So what does she think of this then? Why is she not asking what is going on?
I don't think she's interested. I think she just genuinely doesn't care. It's like, I don't want to think about it. It's horrible. It's behind us.
Well, she does seem a little bit confused as to why he wants to blow open this case.
Yeah, she doesn't. I think she calls him a liar
Yeah,
at one
flat
stage.
out says you're a liar when he says that he just wants to find out who killed Janice.
He tells her that he can't shake her image when he eats and sleeps. Why when he eats? She tells him that over his long career, he's surely seen a lot worse than this, and that sometimes the hardest thing is just to walk away.
Yeah, I think he responds to her by saying that you can't always just walk away, and that he'll call her after he speaks with Crane and leaves.
Yeah, she's looking a bit disappointed in the background.
Yeah, but she likes a bit of the old Jack.
Well, looks that way. We now find Sam at Dr. Crane's office for his appointment.
Yeah, he asks him to lie on his couch.
Yeah, but Sam initially refuses to do so.
And gets a little more uncomfortable when Crane reminds him that they met on the night of the murder.
Yeah, so Sam has no recollection of this, but obviously Crane was the man that we saw going into the house when Sam was leaving.
And he points out he looked very disturbed by the incident. Sam doesn't like this and he gets up, but is almost ordered to sit back down, and is surprised by Crane's request for an explanation of the break-in the previous day.
Yeah, so Sam now is on the back foot because Crane's got at least 2 bits of knowledge that he didn't have, and he's trying to figure out where he's going to go. So he tells Crane that he was looking for a connection between Peter's visit and the murder.
He admits he found nothing when Crane patronisingly appreciates the honesty and then suggests that they begin the session.
Sam wants to know more about the DeCaro switch. Presumably Crane's not allowed to tell him.
In a murder investigation, perhaps.
And that's assuming that what he says is true.
Yes.
So presumably he's allowed to make stuff up. That's not breaking any confidence.
No, I don't think you can make things up. I think you can refuse to divulge.
He's not in a police interview, though. He's just in a private session here with Sam.
That's true. Yeah.
If he makes something up about these people, it's not breaking their confidentiality.
I don't know. It's unethical.
It's very unethical, yeah.
I mean, if I was a patient, you don't want... my doctor couldn't go around saying, yeah, he's got some disease when I've not. He said, well, I just made it up.
Yeah.
It's not true.
It's not going ahead and break any rules. I didn't tell anyone the truth.
In any case, Sam asks why he was coming to see him, Peter that is, was coming to see him. Now, why hasn't Sam interviewed DeCaro?
That never gets mentioned.
No. And I also have noted here, is this potentially a Shutter Island type of situation?
That would be like, doubly clever.
Hmm.
So Crane at this point has agreed to trade answers with Sam. So he'll answer this in exchange for Sam being honest with him.
Again, that's very much like Hannibal Lecter,
Yeah.
the old quid pro quo.
And Crane tells Sam that Peter came alone for a year. He was in love with his wife, but they weren't communicating properly. And eventually he brought Janice along. However,
She in turn wanted to see him on his own, and when she did, revealed that she wanted to leave Peter. Now, Sam wants to know why, but Crane wants something from Sam.
yeah, it's his turn. He gets to lie down now and talk about his dream.
Yeah, after a false start, he gets into a sort of semi-hypnotic state.
Yes, he does try to abort at one point, but he's,
He opens up about this dream involving
Yeah.
the door and the bright light where he was a kid.
everything gets bigger the closer he gets. The light's hurting his eyes, but he can't read the sign.
And he can't open the door in the same way that he couldn't open the door to where Janice's body was. So Crane asks him what is behind the door. And after initially claiming not to know, he has another flashback.
Yes, and he says, she is. And I think in his head it's just Janice. He doesn't have any other concept of another victim other than himself.
But he says that she was all ripped up, I think.
Yes, and they couldn't find her heart.
And so at this point, Sam comes round and sits up in a very agitated state.
He took her heart. They couldn't find her heart.
She didn't love him.
So he cut her heart out.
In the mind of a psychotic, it's poetic justice.
What?
When you give an idea away or a thought or even a kiss, you can never take it back. But the heart is always yours to give and yours to take. Janice wanted her heart back, and that rejection was unbearable.
Did you know Peter was going to kill his wife, Dr. Crane?
No. Lieutenant, what happened to Janice DeCaro has given you a door to your own past. A horrifying door. I can give you the key to that door.
Sam, you gotta get out of here. Ziggy found out why DeCaro kills you.
I have to go now.
Tomorrow, then.
Jack and Janice had an affair 2 years ago. She called him the night of the murder.
4 o'clock? I'm the only way you'll know the truth, Jack.
DeCaro isn't the killer. You are.
A shocking revelation.
Yeah, it's quite nice. Although I'm listening to that and going, yeah, that doctor is definitely the killer.
Yeah.
That is some creepy ass stuff.
That'd be some twist to have that build up and then, oh no, he's fine. He's a good guy.
We're outside the hospital.
Yeah, Sam's not buying Al's assertion that Jack is the killer.
No, I mean, Al explains as they walk that the last number called from the DeCaro house was Sam's and that he should go to the police. But that doesn't, I'm not sure if that means he's a killer.
No, why would Sam bring that to the police's attention? They can figure that out themselves.
Yeah, well, not if Roselli's in charge.
Well, maybe. So Al's pointing out that what we heard earlier about Roselli being close and Sam beating her to the house and blood all over his clothes, but Sam is convinced that Jack did not kill anybody.
Yeah, however, Al thinks that there's a good chance he is the killer and that the flashback and the dreams all make sense now. However, Sam is determined to prove this wrong and says he needs to talk to the boy, even though Al points out that he could end up messing with his mind and pushing him over the edge.
Is that his professional opinion?
Yeah.
Yeah. He urges Sam not to take any chances with the kid's mind, but Sam doesn't care.
No, evidently not, because Sam is now in the room trying to communicate with the still catatonic boy, even though Al has warned him that Beeks thinks remembering his mother's death could cause his state to become permanent.
Sam doesn't care. However, Al tries a different tack.
Well, even that as well. So this boy in this state, he can see Al, no?
Don't know how young he is, so it depends if he's older or younger than
Potentially.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character was in Permanent Wave.
That's got to freak him out.
Yeah, you would think. Al tells Sam that this isn't working. He still gets killed, and then he heads off to work on solutions.
Alone now, Sam is desperate and tries again with the boy and asks him who hurt his mother.
He says he's his last hope.
And this time there is a breakthrough.
Yes, because PJ's drawn a picture of the killer.
Yeah, he unclenches his fists to reveal what?
It's a drawing of the murderer.
Almost. Might not stand up in court, this.
2 handprints.
Yes.
This could be anything.
Well, Sam immediately understands it represents gloves.
Does he? He says that.
Yeah, the boy doesn't confirm it.
Yeah, he doesn't say anything either way now.
So at this point, Sam picks up the phone and calls Crane.
Yes, he arranges to meet him at the DeCaro home for the big denouement.
Yeah, Sam returns there, and via voiceover, we hear how he was once again drawn there, and that this time, Crane had to be with him.
So once they get inside and they get to the door, Crane talks him into the dream.
Yeah, he talks him through his memory and asks if he is at his home in the dream. Sam says no, but he sees steps and doors with words on them, but he can't make them out. He's 9 years old.
That's it. He starts talking in a high-pitched voice like we heard at the start.
Yes, he leans forward and starts to read the word pathology lab.
Yeah, this voice that Scott Bakula does here has been much maligned, but I didn't think it was too bad.
It reminds me of a bad impersonation of the little boy in The Shining.
Yeah, but he's not trying to do an accurate 9-year-old's voice. He's trying to do Sam thinking he's 9-year-old.
Yeah,
psychological rather than a...
Sure. It wasn't utterly offensive, but again, it's a bit of a trope that you had those sort of possessed kids talking, but in sort of 70s, 80s, 90s movies, it was a thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Crane asks him why he's in the basement of the hospital.
What does he say?
He says he had to come because the grown-ups were crying upstairs and told him to stay, but he couldn't.
Crane goes to open the door, which panics Sam, who cries that he's not supposed to go inside, but the menacing doctor reminds him that he did go inside and wants him to do so again.
Yes, he opens the door and inside Sam sees a table and a lot of big drawers and a man in a white coat covered in blood.
I thought this was quite... I enjoyed it. Sam's cowering and he's acting like, he can't cross this threshold.
The man that he sees is angry, clearly upset with Sam for being there, not very sympathetic at all.
Sam starts to break down just as Al arrives, telling him to snap out of it as Crane is inside his mind and Ziggy can't hold on to him.
My mommy's on the table.
Not your mom, Sam. Jack Stone's mom.
I was at my grandparents' house. And when I got home, it was too late.
Not you, Jack Stone.
We went to the hospital, and all the grown-ups went upstairs. But I heard a nurse say she wasn't upstairs. She was in the basement. She was my mommy. I had to find her. She was dead.
She was in autopsy.
She was dead, and they were cutting her up.
Jack Stone witnessed his mother's autopsy. When he saw Janice DeCaro, that brought back the memory of that little boy.
They were cutting her up.
And somehow in your Swiss cheese mind, you were left with the little boy's trauma.
Just like you cut up Janice DeCaro. You killed her.
Janice had to die.
You cut her open.
She wouldn't give me her heart.
Uh-oh.
We were lovers. But she didn't want to go on. She didn't want me to touch her. But I did. I told her that I loved her and that I had to have her heart. But you see, that was her problem. She couldn't give her heart.
So I took it.
And I had it with a nice Chianti and some fava beans.
Yeah, that's the next thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I thought Crane was a great character.
Yeah, well, if a bit derivative, but yeah. It's fine. He tells Sam at this point he's going to help him the same way.
Well, he's went full cycle. He's pulled out a knife as he's talking there.
Yeah. And at this point, he takes Sam's gun from him as well.
You can also see that he's wearing his grey killer gloves.
Murder gloves, yeah.
Yeah.
Sam whimpers as Crane tells him to take the gun back.
Yeah, he's got to take all the pain away as Al continues to try and arouse him from his hypnotised state. He then instructs the snivelling Sam to take this gun, as you said, and it's the only way that he can resolve it, he can get out of this.
Yeah, so I think we understand from this that Crane had done something similar to Peter.
Yes.
And that's why he was trying to kill himself at the start.
Sam repeats the instruction as Al remonstrates that he's under hypnosis and that this is, as you say, what he did to Peter.
Just in the nick of time, Sam snaps out of it and shoots Crane instead of himself before slumping against the door and immediately leaping.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one for Sam's kill list, isn't it? He's fairly racking them up.
We don't know if he's dead, let's be fair.
He's dead.
Because we get no feedback.
No, he is dead. He shot him through the chest and then you see the lifeless body, the eyes staring.
Okay. Let's say he's dead. It's a messy situation for the other guy to leap back into.
Oh, that is going to cause some trauma.
What happened here? I don't know. I was in the future. Likely story.
Deal with that. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, we see Sam leaping into
a 50 style car.
Yeah, a man in a hat, and his car's breaking down as he pulls up at a local garage.
He's greeted by a delighted but surprised employee who can't believe that Billy Beaumont is really there, as everyone in town has been praying that he would show up. Why?
Because he can make it rain.
Sam looks behind him and sees that there's a sign that he is a con man selling this service.
Yeah, it's printed on his car that he's a maker of rain.
Is it his car? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So he says, oh boy, and we end the episode there. Yeah, what's going to happen to Jack?
That's what a bother.
This is the one episode where we needed Al to fill us in and
give us the wrap up, yeah. I think, is that the first non-wrap up episode we've had?
No, because we had one a couple of weeks ago where we were equally frustrated.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, it's a very messy ending, and I'm not entirely sure what happened, really.
No, but what I would say, it was a fun, it was atmospheric. They tried something different, which is good because we're always criticising it for racism in baseball. It wasn't racism in baseball this week.
That's true. But it felt like they couldn't think of a good ending, though. Like, we're going to have him and Crane. Crane's going to have him. He's going to almost kill himself, but then at the end he's not. What's he going to do instead? We'll just he'll shoot Crane and then he'll leap.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd give him a bit more credit. I think they're trying to leave it more open than that. I think they are just trying to leave it it's darker. It's, you're left sort of if it wasn't for the
he's got
stinger.
the answers. He does have the answers to what was causing the flashbacks. Mm-hmm. It's childhood trauma of Jack's. So it's not Sam. Sam will be okay when he leaps, but Jack is obviously hiding this childhood trauma and needs to deal with it.
Yeah,
and also he's just killed the guy.
To add to it, he's got good news. You won't have nightmares about your mother. However, anyway,
how much of what was said do you think was true? So we don't think Crane was actually having a relationship with Janice. That was in his head.
I think he wanted to. Yeah, perhaps a spurned lover, or maybe they did a one-off sort of fling, and she's called off, and he wanted more, and he's a crazy guy.
Do we think Jack was having a relationship with Janice, or was that the story that Crane told in the original history to explain why Peter would kill him?
But how would he have arrived on the scene? Why would she have phoned
this is
him?
The thing. Yeah, why? Maybe he's known to her. Doesn't mean they were having a relationship.
I think he was.
You think he was?
Yeah.
Okay. So Peter will still be mad at him.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
No. Okay. It was fun and it was different.
Yeah.
It's a positive from me.
Some trivia.
Sure.
Originally aired 13th of November 1991, directed by Anita Addison, first of two Quantum Leaps for her. She also directed episodes of Knots Landing, ER, Judging Amy, but died of breast cancer in 2004 when she was just 51. The movie Crash is dedicated to her memory. It's another writing credit for Deborah Pratt, 12th of 20. Hear more about her if you go back to the first season episode, The Colour of Truth. Jocelyn O'Brien played Roselli. This is her only Quantum Leap. Her screen career was quite short, but included films like Oscar and The Mambo Kings and one episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. Her last screen credit was 1997. She's now 65 years old. Mason Crane, played by Alan Scarf, his only Quantum Leap. Also appeared in things like Lethal Weapon 3, Star Trek The Next Generation, Star Trek Voyager, and one episode of Columbo. Do you remember which one?
I remember that he was a high-powered businessman in a skyscraper and gave Columbo some illegal Cuban cigars.
He was Sir Harry Matthews in Columbo Cries Wolf, the Ian Buchanan episode. Bill Marcus played Captain Vincent. I'm not sure who Captain Vincent was, I presume one of the cops. This was his only Quantum Leap, but he also appeared in things like Die Hard, Scrooged, ER, Cagney and Lacey, and his last screen credit was in 2002. Peter DeCaro, played by Tim Ahern. He was only very briefly in the episode at the start. He's also appeared in Law & Order, LA Law, Tales from the Crypt. He's now 75, he's still acting. Leah DeCaro, the daughter, played by Noli Thornton. She had an interesting career as a child, so she was in things like Beverly Hills 90210 for a fairly extended run, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Star Trek The Next Generation, and she was in the music video for Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire.
Oh, that's good.
She's now 40, but her last screen credit was in 1998, so I assume she's done other things. PJ DeCaro, the boy who didn't speak, was played by Michael Patrick Carter. Again, his only Quantum Leap. He was also in Child's Play and shown again in Child's Play 3. He was a kid in a commercial in the original film.
Okay.
He was also in 56 episodes of Paradise with Lee Horsley, and he's now 42. Hasn't had a screen credit since 1996. In terms of trivia, I think this might be the first time that the opening sequence is so much shorter than it was in the previous. So we talk about that at the start. I assume the psychiatrist Dr. Crane is a nod to Kelsey Grammer's character in Cheers.
Yeah, it must be.
Because it's still 2 years before Frasier was a thing, a spin-off on its own. I don't think we learned anything about Al or Sam. Do you?
Don't think so, no.
In terms of on this date, Mr. Ed, the talking horse, died.
Well, I think the second one, not the first.
The one that could talk.
Yeah.
Okay. The US closed its embassy in Taipei, and the next day, Wales voted 80% against having devolution.
That's that's their choice.
Well, it was a collapsing Labour government. This is around the time, remember, Scotland voted in favour and it was overruled because it wasn't a high enough percentage of the electorate and stuff like that. Anyway, that's it. Do you have any other thoughts? Music or anything?
Yeah, music. I'll ask you a question. Do you think I'm sexy?
No.
Okay. Rod Stewart was number one with that in the UK. Oh, sorry, in the US.
In the US, okay.
Yep, and in the UK it was Elvis Costello and the Attractions with Oliver's Army. And also Michael Bisping, who I believe is quite big in the old UFC. I think he's an English fighter.
Never heard
of him.
He was
born on that day. Yeah, I've heard of him. Don't watch it.
So there's a tennis player born as well.
Right.
Bits and pieces. Next week, we've got A Single Drop of Rain, where Sam has to change the weather and keep a family intact. So we will see you in 1953.
Till then,
cheerio.
Bye-bye.